speaking of Games Workshop, actually, I was going to just mention something else, just tinily. They're releasing a new first-person shooter computer game called Necromunda Hired Gun.
Say that
And
again.
Necromunda Hired Gun.
Yes.
And if you're familiar, Necromunda is the hive world, which is very much like Judge Dredd. It's a mega city. There's a dystopian thing underneath, and gangs with augments and stuff like that, and drugs. They try and fight for territory and resources. As the setting of the Necromunda game, they've released a gang warfare, a Necromunda gang warfare game, haven't they? It didn't do so well. But yeah, they've come out with Hired Gun now, where you play a bounty hunter. If any of you know the franchise, you know bounty hunters do come into play quite a lot. You can hire them to solve problems or be extra manpower. And in this game, you play a hired gun. Become a hired gun. The money's good, the dog's loyal, and the gun's reliable. Embark on an indie, fast-paced, violent, and thrilling FPS set in the darkest reaches of Warhammer 40,000's most infamous Hive City. I'm going to highlight there's two things about this phrase. One of them is the indie. It's Focus Home Interactive. Are they indie?
No. Focus Home Interactive. That is not an indie. What have they done?
Don't think so.
They're a pretty big studio now, I think. Yeah. Although indie... People would argue that, oh no, indie isn't the size of your development studio. It's the sort of size of the game. Or like whatever you like. No, it's supposed to be the size of your development studio because, EA does not release indie titles.
Well, I mean, that was from Microsoft's website, so, whatever. But the mention of the dog is nice because the trailer, if anyone's seen it, it's actually quite a fun trailer. And it's quite fun because it sets up with the death and destruction. You've got to survive in the Underhive, and no one can trust them. There's shotguns, and everyone drinks. And then there's a dog, and you just pet the dog. The dog's good. And then it moves on with the destruction. Everyone's like, yes, I'm on board. The dog's loyal. It's a friendly dog. You get to keep the dog. Nothing bad happens to the dog. Good. I'm on board with this game.
Good. Do not hurt the dog.
It does look quite good. I mean, in the trailer and stuff, they're inferring that you obviously fight gangs and will have the Adeptus Arbites that come and track you down. And then it infers you might have to fight the Inquisition at one point, which, that whole lore blending into thing is like, well, I mean, from the lore, I hope not, but from the game point of view, it might be fun. I don't really know if, the history of Games Workshop's like first-person shooters. What is it? Fire Warrior? Remember that when you played a Tau soldier? Did you play any of that? It was like an early PlayStation game. It was kind of fun. It was clunky, but it was kind of fun. But yeah, sure, that'll be coming out.
They are juggernauts at the moment. 40k especially is huge. I remember looking for something when I I knew I was going to be occupying myself on my phone for a time, so I was like, oh, look up a game. I haven't looked up a mobile game in about 3 years, and one of the first things that came up was a Warhammer 40k thing where
Lost Crusade.
Yes.
Yeah, I get spammed with this all the time. I don't even play that many mobile games. Just leave me alone, Lost Crusade. I am not the Eye of Terror. Go away.
Wow. I think you told them.
Just every time
He's lying. Send him more. To be fair, they probably heard you talking about 40k at some point because you do know a lot of lore. I know you're a bit big on it. Chris says, Firewall is fun. I really like the Space Marine game too, but sadly I was alone.
That was all right. I couldn't play it just because it was too effective in its delivery of an actual Space Marine's life. It was just unendingly brutal. Third person, like slasher / shooter. It's just unending violence. It was just so visceral for me. I was like, I literally can't keep up with the amount of bodies I have to create here. But I think it was quite good. I never played it.
Cover yourself in drake dung. I'm not going to make you roll to harvest poop from a drake because that is slightly easier to find than retrieving its poison glands intact. Fulton is now covered in poop.
Look, over there, past them trees. Hey, look, I can walk amongst the jungle things now.
Fulton, you got a spider on your shoulder.
As you keep out of walking through the jungle, you see a human running towards you. He appears to be terrified and screaming. Oh, thank God. An earth elemental has attacked my farm. Please, I need your help.
Hail, friend. Can I just ask before we get into it, is the earth elemental quite surprisingly short, making screaming noises?
Yes, it is tiny and it stinks. It burst into my farm and now it's running around the orchards.
Say no more.
Yeah, it's all right.
We are specialised in this exact type of earth elemental.
Thank you, heroes.
We're going to need a couple of buckets of water.
And maybe some pegs.